Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are here with some first look at F1 2019 gameplay for you guys, where we've got to have a look at some Formula 1 2019 gameplay, as well as the F2 cars, and also just some information to go about. First of all, obviously, this gameplay was provided or it was done by Autosport. They obviously were lucky enough in terms of, I think it was like the press release back in Hamburg. So they've gathered this gameplay and it was shown by them. So obviously, I will link the video to Autosport in the description down below. And also, I will not be monetizing this video because I'm not going to make profit off of somebody else's press release work. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to get into it now. And obviously you can see the gameplay stuff on your screen. So obviously in your screen, you can have a look at some of the F2 gameplay as well as some of the F1. And then at the end, obviously, I'll just be showing a couple of screenshots. I've not actually done a single video about Formula 1 2019 because I've been away. But I'm back and I thought I'd cover it all. So what do we actually know about F1 2019 from what was said? Now, I went ahead and watched the Autosport release video. And I'm basically just going to recap what they've said, because obviously not everyone's going to be watching Autosport. A lot of people watch as content creators, which is why I'm bringing this video. And if it causes any issues, well, I'll just take it down afterwards. So what's the theme then? So with career mode, it seems that they're going to be taking a different path towards career mode. You're going to be going into F1. You're going to be starting off in F2 for your career mode. So you will not be in Formula 1. You will be doing the F2 season, and that is something which is absolutely sensational. I thought the F2 cars would literally just be there as a case of, hey, you can do a quick race with F2 cars, but no. You are going to have your opportunity to race in the F2 cars as part of the career mode. And for the first time ever, this is going to be taking a brand new narrative story feeling. And they're going to really be embracing on the rivalry that has been promoted with the Senna and Prost theme. Now, with this, obviously, as you can see the 2019 Renault there driving around Bahrain, this is absolutely huge for the game itself, in general. And what their purpose is that they wanted to basically allow you to build a rivalry. You're going to probably end up confronting somebody from the F2 paddock in the actual paddock of the game itself, and obviously you are going to then form that special rivalry, and then you and those rivals that you're with are going to graduate up to Formula 1 together. That does mean for the first time ever that you might have some random drivers that are going to allow to sideline other drivers. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, say for an example, I don't know if it's going to be a completely random F2 rival that you have, or if it's going to be somebody that is, completely normal, like George Russell, Lando Norris type rival. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, or Alex Albon for that matter. But if it is someone that's completely random, it might be that you graduate to Formula 1, you get into, say, the Renault team, and then all of a sudden, you are faced with Sebastian Vettel on the sidelines at Ferrari, because all of a sudden, now you can see that your rival from F2 has gone up into F1. This is the first time that we're ever going to see a narrative storyline coming into Formula 1 career mode. And this is something that I have been banging on about for God knows how long with F1, is that the career mode is stale and it never gets anywhere. With this now, and with the fact that they've allowed for us to be able to take on a rival and really embrace ourselves as a driver in this career mode, is absolutely massive. It's really, really big for the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it pans out. Now, obviously, with people getting the press release or, getting a chance to have a look at the game early, there was no talk, or they didn't get an opportunity to see if you could skip the F2 section. Now, obviously, I understand with a lot of people, they're not interested in F2, and you're interested in specifically playing F1, hence why it's an F1 game. Now, they didn't get the chance to find out if you could skip the F2 thing and just do like a bog standard F1 career mode that a lot of people know and love, and a lot of people don't want to do F2 and go up to F1 and do all that. They just want to get to F1. They just want to drive a career mode for McLaren or Mercedes or Ferrari or whatever, and they just want to do that, and that's completely fine. A lot of people want to do that. They never got the chance to actually get around to that. However, with Codemasters, it's highly unlikely that they'll force you to start in F2 and then move over to F1. Honestly, I actually think no matter what, I think you should start in F2 because this is how you graduate to Formula 1, and it's really good that they're doing it this way. But honestly, I can't see them telling you otherwise. You can't go into Formula 1. Like, it'd just be a bit dull if they said, no, you have to start in F2. So we'll see. Obviously, we don't actually fully know about that just yet, of course. And that was the one thing that they stated about. Next up then, in terms of the actual gameplay news that was stated, in this reveal. As you would have seen, obviously, as the gameplay is repeating itself onwards, because obviously I'm just constantly commentating at the moment, you would have noticed that, especially when you saw Daniel Ricciardo driving around Bahrain, that the lighting for the F1 game has been completely redeveloped and revamped. So you'll be able to see now when going through Bahrain, I can see it in the screenshots that I've seen. I've seen it now in this gameplay here, that it is extremely crisp, it's extremely clear, and it's just taken a massive, massive change. And it's amazing. So when you go to the likes of Bahrain, you go to Singapore, and you also go to Abu Dhabi, and you put it at midnight, obviously, you really can see the complete contrasts in coloration and the lighting beaming off the actual Formula 1 cars itself. It's really, really great. Also with that as well, the tyres are absolutely sensational. So obviously, the F1 tyres this year, they've got some sort of like chrome painting over the top of the tyre. And obviously as the drivers come out of the pits, obviously that chrome sheen on the tyre slowly disappears, and then obviously the wear kicks in then. And that's really, really prominent within the Formula 1 game this year. And it's something that I'm really, really happy about. It's such a small little detail, but every single detail in the game makes the difference. It really does. And someone that's in the game designing or game industry would know kind of just that. So like if anyone says like, oh, you know, they've added a little bit of tyre sheen, what's the point? Like genuinely, that little bit of tyre sheen in the game can make all the difference for a development to show your real interest and contrast within your project that you are doing. So on that front, it's really, really good for them to be producing this into it. Following from that then, they started talking a little bit about multiplayer. Now, this was very, very interesting with regards to multiplayer and how they actually explain this. So, what they stated is obviously multiplayer, like we know, they've got glitches, they've got bugs. That's easy to know. Have they been fixed? Who knows? Now, obviously, we don't know if they've been fixed, because whenever they're going to do testing and preview for the game, they're going to be running the multiplayer off LAN servers. They're not going to be running it off of, you know, us and our internet and stuff like that. It's just going to be local servers, and they're never going to get a full contrast if there's going to be constant bugs within the Formula 1 multiplayer. Saying that, though, they're going to have a brand new system for league racing. Now, this is really, really interesting. I don't know how on earth they've got this to work, but they did. Now, with league racing, there's a lot of times when there's a different driver that would love to join your league. For example, when we run SBRL, which we will be running in F1 2019, obviously we called it off because I decided to take some time away. Sam wasn't going to run it on his own, etc., etc. But obviously, if we were to try and get someone to drive into SBRL, what's going to happen now is if you are joining a league, you're going to now have on your F1 game a league attendance stat. Now, this is going to show if you are reliable and if you turn up to league races. If you're somebody that's joined a league race and you've only participated in 45% of the league races that you've ever participated in, when you then try and join a league from somebody else, they're going to spot your statistics on how much you attend, and it will show that you may have raced in 45% of your races. Say you did like 120 races and you've only done 45% of them, then people are going to notice that, and they may just say to you straight up, he's only raced 45% of this guy, but this guy that wants to join as well, and just the one spot we've got available, has raced in 83% of his races. He's more reliable, he attends more races, and we can expect to see him there. So we'll go with him instead. Absolutely amazing feature that, and it allows people that just don't turn up. We've had it in SBRL, it's the same thing. We've had people that just haven't turned up for the first 3 races in a row, and in those 3 races we could have had somebody that, you know, participated and got racing, whereas, you know, they may have gone off to a different league now because ours wasn't available anymore. And this, by showing the statistics, we can say, hang on a second, you don't really race that much, we're not going to take you on board. And it's a really brilliant feature within that. Next up then, they started talking about the main menu and how that was really, really clunky to start with. And it's always been a bit of a mess, the F1 menu. Now what's going to happen is that the game mode that you feature in the most is going to be the front of your menu. So if you're a person that is a do-or-die career mode player and plays nothing but career modes, when you start up the game, your game will specifically be for career modes. It will not be for anything else on those lines. The next one then is also, for any other type of gameplay that you play, obviously, if you decided to, you just play multiplayer, you play nothing but multiplayer. As soon as you load up the game, multiplayer will be the first thing that will be on your menu. So you don't have to keep scrolling across to multiplayer and so forth. You literally just start the game, press A, boom, you're straight over to multiplayer. Very, very simple, very, very easy. And the The final thing that I was going to talk about today is going to be the Ayrton Senna and Prost thing. Now, unfortunately, on this front, Autosport did state that this was a disappointment, and I can now see why. They were given the opportunity to only play one of the events. Now, bear in mind, this is only one event that they played. They played challenge number 1. Now, with the Ayrton Senna and Prost thing, there's a bunch of challenges that the two of it will take on, and you try and complete all the challenges to get the multiplayer liveries and so forth like that. Now, having a look at this, it was quite clear that it was a disappointment. In the first challenge that they did, it was the standard classic car overtake challenge. And what was the disappointing part? The leader was obviously Alain Prost, but it was so easy to get past. It basically just recycled a pointless challenge and put it into something that deserves so much more. I'm really upset about that, in my opinion. Like I said, though, that's only one challenge. I don't know how many they've got in planned. I don't know if it's going to stay further developed. But if it is literally just going to be overtake challenge, checkpoint challenge, all that stuff, honestly, you might as well just scrap it from the game. There's no point. It's recycled. No one ever does do or die. Give me these overtake challenges. I want 3 stars. Like, it's just not, it's not cool. Like, it's boring. So I'm upset about that. But like I said, I'll still do every single challenge because I want to get the Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, especially the Ayrton Senna multiplayer livery. And I'll briefly discuss multiplayer livery. Again, like, I know a lot of you guys have probably heard this information from other places now. You wouldn't need my information, but if you don't have that and you only watch me and you don't watch anyone else, I'll obviously go for it. So obviously, in F1 2019, there is now a bog standard F1 2019 tech regulation car. So you can only use, I think you can only use that one in multiplayer. There might be an option to go with that. I think it might be a case of like modern cars, classic cars, and then like red cars or something like that. And you'll be able to customize your own helmet. You'll be able to customize your own gloves, customize your livery, literally customize everything. Massive positive for the F1 game. Needed to be done at some point. In online, you sort of race as a Mercedes, for example. You've got your number on the back of the on your Merc, and you've got a really poorly made helmet and just some stupid gloves. Now, obviously, if I can get my own gloves, I can get my own helmet, I can get my own livery. You know, it feels like I am my own character in multiplayer. You know, I'm not just some recycled character that means nothing. It's like, right, it feels like you are the multiplayer. It's funny how it sounds, but it's like, this is my character. This is my car. This is all mine. I'm going to take it on. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm racing for Mercedes. You know, I've got my blue helmet and my white to match Mercedes. It's like, no, I've got this helmet to match my livery, to match my glove, matches me. And I love that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are on that front. Obviously, as well, with this game as well, just to confirm a couple of things, just in case you may have asked the questions. Now, obviously, as we know, there are 3 additions to the Formula 1 game. You're going to be eligible to get the F1 2019 Standards game. You have the F1 2019 Anniversary Edition, and you'll have the F1 2019 Legends Edition. I will quickly go through every single edition because there's been some confusion on that front. The F1 2019 Standard game will launch on the 28th of June 2019. This will include the game. That's it. The F1 2019 Anniversary Edition will also launch on the 28th of June 2019, unless I'm stating it incorrectly. I'm a retard otherwise. With this one, you'll be able to get your hands on the F1 2010 McLaren and also the F1 2010 Ferrari. As obviously this is Codemasters' 10th game in their franchise, they're celebrating by releasing obviously these 2 cars. This is absolutely amazing. I really do like that they've added these 2 cars. As already me and Sam are planning on doing a series revolving around the Red Bull, the 2010 Red Bull, the 2010 McLaren, and the 2010 Ferrari. So we've got something planned with those. Also with Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost's car as well, we've got plans with those. So yeah, plans for classic cars are actually going to happen this year. That's something that I can put out there. So that's what you're going to get. With the F1 2019 Legends Edition, this is where you get the game 3 days early. This is the only edition of Formula 1 that is going to allow you to get that early gameplay start. So this will launch on the 25th of June 2019. Within this one, you'll be able to get Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost's cars, obviously. You'll get the 2010 cars as well, the 2 classic cars for 2010. The F1 game, maybe some other little bits and bobs here and there. And also, you'll obviously get the game 3 days early. Now, this is actually a massive blessing for myself because I'm going away on holiday on the 28th of June when the game releases. But now that I can get this game 3 days early by getting the other edition, it means I can record videos non-stop for 3 days, and then obviously get them all uploaded, and then I can go away on holiday and relax. I'll probably still make some videos while I'm away, but still, you know what I mean. I can get a head start on it, which is lovely on that front. But yeah, anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Obviously, if there's any more F1 2019 content that does get released at some point this weekend or whenever in the future, I will be able to cover it now. So I can cover it for you guys and get it out there. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background, and I put some screenshots here and there as well. But until then, guys, I will see you for the next video. So take care all, guys. Peace.